Okay, so today's video we're going to be focusing on the headlights. Just going to try and get these to fit, get them up and running, and yeah, just start putting the front end back together again. So yeah, let's get started. I'm going to start by heading around to the front of the van. We'll open the bonnet, get the trusty spirit level out. These should come as standard on all vehicles. There we go, lovely. I'm going to start with the, like I say, the driver's side. This is all loose anyway as it is. I'm going to mark up the holes underneath. So I know that I'm going to need a hole there, underneath there, and that's where the new headlight fixes to, there and there. Obviously this one's available, so I know we're going to need to cut this out, and then I'm going to probably cut away all of this part here. So I'm just going to cut along the upper edge. I'm going to leave this bit, the top bit, intact because it's got the screw holes. So I'm going to slice just the sides off, all the way down to about the back of there. Might have to take this wing off. In fact, I will do. I'm going to mark up on there with a pen, and I'll then remove the wing and start cutting this away. And that gives you a good chance to see how these go on and off. They're quite easy, to be honest. The only fiddly bit is underneath this bit of glass, but we'll be alright. This piece is only held in at the minute with just the one bolt, just a 10. Take that out. Gonna unclip this again. I know we put it back in again yesterday, but I'm just gonna unclip it to move it out of the way, so we're not getting anything caught with the grinder. Do that, just pull that forward, that way.
Much later.
Pop that out. And I'm just going to give this a little wipe down with just some waterless wash and wax, just so the pen marks go on there nice and clearly. Just going to start by removing this piece here all the way to there, and we'll go along the top line there, and the same on the opposite side. I'm going to leave all these intact because I don't know what I might need and what I might not need. So yeah, we're just going to go in there because I know that's definitely restricting the light, and same on the other side. What I'll do now is I'm going to remove the wing. These wings are normally bolted in all the way down the side, and because this is an older shape van, at the moment this is not fixing that securely. What I've done here, where this bolt is, that's where the original fastener for the old wing goes in. So it bolts in there, there, and there. And on the newer style van, there's another bit of steel that's sort of welded on top. And obviously you can see where that would screw in. However, just here, this bit of panel lines up with this hole. Now there isn't a hole there. I had to drill that hole myself. Just a nice wide hole to allow movement for the wing. But that lines up there perfectly, so I did that just for now to get this in place, and then once all the rest of the panels are lined up, I'm going to fix this properly. So to remove this, I'm going to have to remove this fastener. We've got one inside there and one further up, and then we've also got, not sure if you can see, but we've got two just in the back there. I've got no light on it. There's two underneath there, so we need to reach up and get those off, and then this wing will be able to slide away, and we'll have full access to this. just shows how long it's been since I've actually done this. The bolts for this wing are on the inside, so to get at them you do need to remove the plastic trim. You do then also need to remove this window, so you can see that's held in by 1, 2 and 3, and then once that window's out you can then access the bolts for it. So now you can see once the bit of glass is out, just held on by the 3 there, you can get the access to these top 2 bolts. Really, these 2 and this one here are the only ones I'm going to have to keep undoing and redoing, just so I can get the line of this correct for the headlight. So I'm just going to, I'll pop those 2 out and we'll remove the wing. So you got this bracket here, bolts from there into the frame. So we'll need to remove these 2 as well. On the opposite side, I've got another piece I'm going to try out for this. So the specifications on the newer Caddy are obviously different, so the chassis leg is different. And the newer Caddy comes with, this is the parts for this side. Now obviously, as you can see, that doesn't match up there. There's nowhere for that to bolt in. Now, before I try and make anything custom for this to fit, what I've done is I've done a bit of looking and measuring, and I've bought the side for this, same as the other side, for the 2010 onwards Caddy. Now that is a solid piece. I'll get it actually. In fact, it's in the bag of tools, bag of tricks. So here it is. So I bought this. Now I've no idea if this is going to work, but we can always live in hope. So that goes in there, and that goes on there. And looking at it, it might just do the trick. So that bolts under there, that goes onto there, bolts the side of things. So we'll try that out in a bit. Try that out after we've got the headlight sorted on the other side. Right, so we've had a new delivery. As you can see, it's an angle grinder. Did have one of these before, exactly the same model as this, but unfortunately I stole them with the rest of my tools when they got nicked a few months ago. Not really needed to replace it up until now, so got this ordered. Throw that away. Throw that away. Throw that away. I've just realised what I've done. I need to get the one I had on this before had a toolless blade change, so I'll have to order that one separate. For now I'll have to use this. Just get a disc on it. Just get a disc on it. Throw that away. Throw that away. Drop a battery on it. Variable speed on this one. This is a newer model. The older model didn't have the variable speed, which is nice. So that's that. Okay, please. I'm going away. One side. Right, so as you can see, I've cut out the the inside of it. Now the headlight does fit loads better, like that, but there's also a problem here. So this part here has to feed up to behind there, up through that hole. So I'm going to just have to cut a notch out of that part there to allow that to work. So this is how it stands at the moment. As you can see, I've cut away quite a bit of that. I've also cut a large notch in there. Now I will tidy this up a bit before this is all together properly, but obviously at the minute I'm still sort of piecing it all together. Inside there as well, you can see I've had to cut quite a bit away as well there. So I'm just going to do the opposite onto this side, and then hopefully get them both in and start fiddling around with the alignment. Right, I've done a bit of work on this side, and what you can also see is I've replaced this. So I've taken off these two pieces here and put in the one off the older style van, and it actually fits amazingly. There was a little bit of pushing and shoving involved, but this has been sat for a while, so it might have been sort of misshapen, and you can also see there's a bit of a gap there, but this is not fixed yet, and this will move in. So once that's in and fixed down, I'm pretty sure that that's going to work. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. We won't know until all the front ends here and on, but it's a good start. And if it doesn't quite work, it's pretty easy to just I can grind these nuts off the back here. I can drill some new holes on this to where I need it to fit, and I can make my own sort of mounting points for that. This part's the important part, the strengthening piece. Where it mounts to the wing, that can be changed. So, but I'm really happy with that. Bit of stroke of luck really. Just goes to show that they don't spend that much money on redeveloping parts, because they like to keep it all the same. So even though they changed on the front end of the van, a lot of the chassis and stuff is still exactly the same. Right, headlights in. Now I've noticed a bit of a problem with this side and the other side. I'm actually missing a bracket. So underneath there's a small piece that goes onto the inner wing, and that's got a little tab where the bottom of the headlight mounts in, because this headlight should be sitting about there, but when it does, as you can see, it's not far off. The obviously again, panels are aftermarket, they will need some bending into shape. The gap on this side is a bit tighter than the gap on this side, and again that's because the panels aren't from the same manufacturer, but it can be manipulated. We can bend this, we can bring this down a little bit, heat this up, just change that slightly, and we'll have both headlights in. I have mocked this one up. I'm going to just looking for some extra parts because I need a small spacer. The only thing I've had to do in here extra, I've just had to put a spacer in this hole here, and I need to go and get myself a longer bolt, because the bolt that's originally meant to go in there now won't reach the hole underneath. So I've just popped this little white spacer in. Thankfully I've got one of these lying around. I've got a few different sizes, but I need to go and grab another one this size as well for the other side, so that I can get both headlights on and mocked up properly. Next step after that, I'm going to lower the bonnet. So you can see we need to tidy this edge up. Push that in a bit, push that in a bit, pull this out a bit. Now then, in lining this wing up to match with this bonnet, what you can see here is I've made myself some little brackets. Now these are just on the temporary. They will actually stay, but they're going to get welded. For now they're just screwed in with some toppers. So I've got one there, and that's allowed me to move this wing in and out and get it bolted down to exactly where it needs to be. Now these are dead simple. I'm doing this over the Christmas period, so I'm limited on what's open and what I can get hold of. So I nipped down to my local B&Q and bought some of these brackets. Now these were double the same on both sides there, and as you can see, I've already measured this and marked it beforehand, but I've just sliced a bit off the end. So I've got one there and I've got another one there. And what I do with these brackets is these will just sit underneath there, like that. I'll screw these into the body, onto this panel here with some just some self tappers. I've got a step bit, so I'll drill a hole through there into that, create a hole in that. Same at the top, just put that on there. And then I'm able to use the factory fitted bolts with a nut and a washer on the back. Again, it's just temporary. I shall weld the nut onto the back of it. Makes it easy to obviously remove the panel, because otherwise you're fiddling underneath there with a spanner. But I've got a 10mm nut on the underside of that with a washer, and I can use the factory bolt through the hole that I'm going to create, and I'm able then to move this panel in and out and line it up to exactly where it needs to be. And as I say, when this is all fixed in, I'll prime these up. They're painted as it is now, so they're not going to rust away, but I'll need to grind the sides down. I'm going to weld sort of this section here where my thumb is. I'm going to weld that to the body, so that's fixed there. The difference between this Caddy and the newer Caddy is that these Caddies have got like an L-shaped piece like this running the whole length of this, wing on the underside of that. So that comes up and out. Obviously I don't need it the whole length. I just need it that much. I'll then also, what I'll do is I'll trim down that bit there when the wing's in line and bolted on. And drill a couple of little holes to help the self tappers get started. Sorted. So now I'm going to come up here, there's a little screw there, just if you can see it. I'm going to undo that, we're going to position this wing in line with the bonnet. It's going to take a long time, so I'm not going to film the whole thing. I'll just do a little time lapse of it, but for reference, the other side took me about 2 hours last night. And we just need to take a quick little break for some lunch. First thing you need to sort out is you need to make sure that this line here is sitting right with the body. Once you get this bit sorted, and you work your way down slowly. I'm happy with the line on the door. I know these doors are going to get changed again at some point, so if this is not 100%, the new door has got its own adjustments in it, so we can do that. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it down there. I'm happy with it there. I just need to tweak this a bit. I'm going to loosen this bolt and retighten it, and we'll work our way down the door. Once that's in, you've then got to check how the bonnet lines up. So I'm going to have to lower this bonnet slightly on this side, just so this line and this line are flush, just like they are on the other side. In order to lower the bonnet, we're just going to loosen this hinge, and we're just going to drop it down slightly. Okay, so that's lowered it a bit, but now it needs to move back down the vehicle that way. Okay, now, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but that's pretty good there. It's still not 100% because we don't know where this line's going to be, but I'm happy with that here. So I'm going to make sure that all these bolts are dead tight, and I'm going to continue down the wing. So for all this process, what I'm using is I've got the factory body bolts. So these are what were used to hold the wing on originally. Let it focus. So I've got the factory bolts. I've also got a couple of nylon lock washers. Nylon lock nuts from B&Q, and some washers also from B&Q. Just my closest store that was open. Pretty much any sort of DIY shop, screw fix, depending where you're on, if you're in England, if you're in the States, wherever. Just standard nut and bolt really. I'll only have to this is the worst part, so this is the fiddliest bit. It's holding the nut and the washer underneath, but once I've got it in there once, I can then just tack weld that to the underside and I won't have to do it again. Really useful tool if you've not got one, get one. A cone bit or a step bit. So I bought these in a pack of 3 for about 25 quid, and they're absolutely brilliant. Just allows you to cut straight through metal. You can make any hole just pretty much any size you want. If you need to widen holes out, fantastic if you're doing any sort of fabricating work. And 2 on at last. I'm going to call it a day for a bit because it started to rain. I've got to go and collect some bits and bobs, so we'll pack it up there and come back later. Right then, so after a few hours of messing around, I've got both the wings and the bonnet to where I'm happy with them. I'll just show you. A nice even line from down there down to there. These match up nicely, and same that side. Without getting a heat gun on here, maybe. I think that's as best we're going to get it. These are aftermarket panels, they're not stamped perfectly, so there's always a little bit of messing around to do. So I do think I'm going to have to warm this bit up a bit and bend that down a bit. Just the body lines don't match quite the same, but that's as close as I'm going to get it for now. This is secure, this is secure. Next thing we're going to do is drop the headlights in it, get them plugged in, get them working if we can. I'm going to hope they're just plug and play, so they take the same wiring loom. The pins are slightly different, but we'll see. You know, trial and error. If it doesn't, we'll have a mess around with it. We'll get some wiring diagrams up. I've got this one in just loose at the minute. Well, it's not even in really. It's just, you can see it falling down there. So we'll start with this side because this headlight's more complete. It's got all its clips on it, so we'll be able to do a better job of fixing that in. Once this side's in and lined up, we'll tackle the other side. Right then, so looking at the front of the van, looking where the headlights mount in, they screw into the bottom of these 2 holes here. 1, 2. There's a little bracket just here. Now we're missing this on this side. The headlight we've got for this side doesn't have the plastic for this bracket. And there's also a bracket that goes on here. Now I've ordered that, but we're just going to get these mocked in for now. Also, when the bumper goes on to this, the bumper sort of helps secure the headlight. Underneath the headlight there's you'll see, show you on this one. So you've got these tabs here, and that will secure into the bumper and keep it sitting where it's meant to be. What I've done here, as you can see, this is not the original part. I chopped away at this. Now these sit a little bit higher than the original panel. The new piece of the Caddy sort of comes up at an angle and sits underneath this. So what I've just done for now is I've put these little plastic spacer blocks in. You can see it just there. Put that in. Now I've not got any bolts to go through these yet. I have to fetch some, but for now I'm just going to drop a cable tie through it just to keep it in place. It's not going to be secure, but it's going to stop that from falling away, and it will help me line the headlights up. So I'm just going to drop that in there for now loose and do the same on the other side. Straight through the hole. Lovely. Just loop that through there. Sorted. Right, let's start with the passenger side headlight, and we'll get that fitted. Right, now the way that these are connected is with a this is a 24mm sort of plastic bolt, and that sits through that piece of metal that goes along the top and screws into there. And this is used to adjust the height of the headlights. So the headlight will hang off that, and then to secure that in there, there's a further bolt that goes in the top. So I've taken this one out already. Just going to remove this one. I haven't got a 24mm socket on me at the minute, so I'm just going to use this adjustable spanner. Get that out, so it's quite stiff. We'll take that over to the van. Slide that up under there. Just get that hooked on. I'm gonna fall. And you can see there's a hole, and that sits through there and just screws into the bottom of the headlight. I will need both hands to do this, so I'll do that first. So both headlights are in. They are very, very close to where they need to be. I'm still waiting on the brackets that go underneath here that sort of secure the back part of the light in. So they're a little bit wobbly. You won't want to drive down the street with them on like that, but they're in place. They're where they need to be. I've had to do a little bit of creative thinking with the way that they're mounted in. So this is how they're supposed to be fixed in. This this is a 24mm, that screws into the top of the light like I showed you earlier. And from there you can adjust the height of the mirror up and down. With this side, because the way that this panel is fixed, this piece isn't tall enough to come out the top of there. So what I've had to do is I've put that on the underside, and then I've used one of the bolts from the old Caddy front end. This was one of the bolts that held the radiator in, I believe. That's straight through. It's the same thread. It's big enough that it sits in that gap, and that just holds it up. And to be honest, it looks factory underneath. There's still a couple of screws to go in there that sort of lock that in place. Same on the other side, like so. This one we're just waiting on a screw that's a little bit longer, and that'll go straight through into the bottom. But all that doesn't attach to the light. That just fixes this part to this part. And that's pretty solid anyway. It's pretty secure, it's not going anywhere. It's bolted in tightly down here and here. I'll just take the bonnet down so you can see it. It's one-handed. There we go. So once it's sitting a little bit too far in, it needs to be about there. But once that bracket down there is in, that'll work. And on the other side there, so really happy with that. I'm just going to plug them in, and we'll see if they work. Right, I need to take this battery off. This is completely dead. no life in it whatsoever. You join me with a new battery on it. It's not a new battery, it's also a very old one, but it should hold a bit of power. I'm using this little jump starter thing. If you don't have one of these, you need to get one. They're fantastic. Keep it in your glove box. Tiny little thing, because it's just the size of my hand. It's got a little torch on it. You can charge your phone off it. Comes with a 12-volt charger, so you can charge it up in your car once you've started your car, so you're never out of power. It's a brilliant little thing. I don't go anywhere without it, and I don't know what I did before I got one. Gone are the times where you've got to flag someone down and try and borrow some jump leads, and this is just fantastic. So turn it on, gives you a little indicator there. Now if your battery is completely dead, this will show just one red light there, and it will tell you that there's no point trying to charge this battery up. I know this battery is dead flat, so I'm going to hold this button here, and that puts it into like a supercharger mode, and that will pump as much juice into this battery as it possibly can. You'll see we've got lights in there. We're out of gear. I'll give it a minute. It is a pretty dead battery. Excuse the mess in here. All the lights on. Nearly there. Give it a minute. We've got lights. And we have power. Lovely. Got a few lights on the dashboard there. I'm aware of most of them. So the ABS light, there is a speed sensor that's missing. Rear left side, there we go, your warning. Flashing coolant light, so we need to put a new thermostat in it. Brake lights, obviously we've got no brakes at all, so we're bound to have a brake light on. Battery light, we know the battery's knackered. Engine management light, that's a new one, but there's plenty of things unplugged at the minute, so we'll get round to that. Right, fingers crossed. So we have power to the lights. That's the side lights, and that's the main beams. Let's have a look. Not sure how well you can see that, but that light is on. We've got main beam and side light. Come around to this light. We've got main beam and we've got side light. I'm really happy with that. I'm all done at the front for now. Can't really do much more without a bumper, so we're going to call it a day at that. Wrap the video up. If you enjoyed it, please stay tuned for the next one. If you've got any questions on how to do anything, you know, please leave your questions in the comments, and I'll get back to you. Please like, subscribe for the channel. Going to have loads more videos coming, so there's going to be loads of videos on this van. There's going to be some videos on the Range Rover just there, and there's going to be some videos on the little BMW, like I've said in a previous video. But we're focusing on this van first. This is the main goal. I want to get this done and on the road, bar paint, by the end of January. So we'll have a couple of videos coming every week for it, and we shall get it looking really good.